Hello everybody and welcome to RB Outdoors Northwest.
We did something.
We did something
big.
We
bought property.
Yes, we bought property in northeastern central Washington, I guess is the best way to say it. We are approximately 21 miles from Tonasket, Washington, and 35 miles from Republic, Washington, and near the Canadian border. We just bought just under 7 acres. We're up the Eneas Valley, which is a beautiful valley, and it's the perfect location because we're 2.5 hours from Leavenworth, Kashmir, where my family is, and the granddaughter.
Yeah.
And we're 2.5 hours to Spokane, where the in-laws and brother-in-laws and sister-in-laws are.
Yes. Where we bought is in I guess you would say it's a development, but we do have almost 7 acres, and everyone around us has 3 or more acres. So, but it is a bit of a community here. And we've met some really nice people, and one of the reasons we bought in a location like this, we've been looking totally off-grid and totally up in the middle of nowhere, and we really decided we wanted something a little bit safer.
Yeah, even though this is a very remote area,
yeah,
it's still off. There's no utilities. I mean, there is power on the road. We're still trying to figure out if we want power, but there's no well or anything.
We want it. We just don't know if we want to pay all the money for it.
Exactly. So this is raw land. It doesn't get any raw. There's no well. There's no power. It's just we've got tons of timber.
Yeah.
And we didn't know this until after we bought it that there's a rustic old log cabin, and we're going to show you that here in just a minute. And we've got a question for you, what to do with it. So we're going to take you down there, show you what it looks like, give you some drone footage. It's pretty freaking cool.
Yeah, we love it here. It's just so peaceful. We've been very, very fortunate in finding this location. So you come up the road and you really can just pull right onto the property. We've had to cut down a couple of trees. We actually are going to clear out a majority of the trees. It's a little landing area here, and then it dives off and goes down to where the log cabin is. And it's pretty steep in places. But where we're going to make our homestead is fairly level, but we got to clear all the trees out. So
lots and lots of trees. And speaking of trees, we're going to use a lot. We have a ton of timber on this property, and I've got an Alaska sawmill that attaches to your chainsaw, and I've used this in the past, and it makes some really nice lumber. So we're going to try to implement all this timber and building and using our own lumber. Video coming hopefully soon. We actually have to wait. We're still in fire restrictions, and there's no fires, no charcoal, and no chainsaws. So it could be mid to maybe even late October before we can even fire up the chainsaw, because things are dry, super dry. But we are 25 miles from Lake Bonaparte. We're about 30 miles from Lost Lake. We are about 15 miles from Crawfish Lake, and then there's 3 or 4 other lakes that I didn't even know existed, which are just a few miles down the road. So we've got fishing super close by, camping super close by, and this is an excellent unit for our archery hunt.
Yes, it's actually season right now for us to be hunting. So we are getting ready to head out here shortly and go check a few places out. Again, we're talking to neighbors, learning the lay of the land, and we found that there's some state property up above us here that we're going to drive up.
We're going to drive right after this.
Woo,
so
keep your fingers
crossed. We'll see what happens. So any suggestions or comments, anybody out there that's watched this and has raw land, I'd love to hear from you. All kinds of cool things like outhouses.
Yeah.
We want to put in an outhouse just for the practicability of it and not having to dump with the trailer and all the time.
I want it to be rustic looking on the outside, going along with the area here, but I want it to be nice on the inside.
Yes,
So.
we kind of crappy on the outside, but when you open the door, you're going to go,
Oh.
whoa, hello. So that's
right, women, you want to go in and go, oh, this is lovely. This isn't
so that's
scary
kind of
at
at the
all.
top of the list of probably one of the
Yeah, it
first
is.
things we do. So anyway, check out the drone footage of the property, and let's go down the cabin and let's show you this cabin from like probably the early 1800s. At the cabin.
What do you like what we've done with the place?
Yes, we just need to put a roof on and we'll call it home.
Bang.
So when we bought this property, we had no idea this was even on here.
No.
We are just under 7 acres and we probably only walked maybe 2. And a friend of ours actually zoomed in on Google Earth of the outline of our property and said, hey, what's that square thing in the back of your property? And we're like, what are you talking about? Well, here it is. This is a cabin, we're guessing from the early to mid 1800s. And we actually found out from some neighbors that have been here since 1979 that it is
I don't remember the name of it, but it's like a rest stop for mules in the old days.
apparently there's an old road right here in front of us.
Wagon road, yeah.
A wagon road. And this was kind of like a rest stop.
They'd water, feed,
yes,
rest.
and rest. And there is a creek also behind us, which makes sense. So you have water, you have feed for the mules, and then they would carry on all the way up to Wanacott Pass, and then maybe down to Republic, because that's the kind of the direction it goes. So this is like a rest stop back in the 1800s where people would refuel, rest up to continue on their trip back in the old days. How freaking cool is that? It's Wakanda, not Wanacott. I got them confused. Anyway, but here's the deal. We want to ask you, what do you think we should do with this cabin?
What do you think? The possibilities are endless.
I mean, obviously we could do absolutely nothing.
True.
Leave it as is, and it's a great conversation piece. When people come, we can show them. Or we don't know. So we're asking you, the viewers, have any ideas what we should do or not do to this cool cabin? If I were to guess, gosh, it's got to be at least 20, 25 feet long and probably maybe 20 to 15 feet wide. It's a good spot. I'm going to take you around. I've looked, and Brenda has looked for initials, dates, anything to kind of give us a clue on how old this thing is, but we have yet to find anything. I may invest in a metal detector and see if there's anything cool stuff that's been either buried or accidentally dropped in this ground. Who knows what could be in this place? So if you have any suggestions at all, anything, it doesn't matter what it is, please let us know, because we are really stumped on if we should do something or just leave it as is. We're kind of leaning maybe towards that because it's just part of history, but who knows? It's on our property, so we can do anything we want with it. We just bought property. We are so excited. We have been chopping trees and come up with some really good ideas. But again, we want to hear from the viewer. Any suggestions or ideas is much appreciated. Please subscribe. Please share the video. Please give this video a thumbs up. And we will talk to you very soon.
Take care now.